Welcome to my live voice in the live channel for this live SpeedGaming 3 race of the Super Metroid Community Weekly Live Map Rando race. This is Basic Desolate today. So this should be fun. We have 24 entrants, which is a big number. My biggest concern is that people see Basic and think that they can join, and don't read the Desolate part, where this is just as hard as Hard Tricky. I am Aussie101, here to be scared in your place. As we watch Sunwoo Farmer and Tickles battle it out, these are the chosen champions of Super Metroid. And that's nice, they're mostly synchronized, so we don't have to touch anything. We have a Bubble Mountain start. I don't know how Sunwoo has this chosen, but we both get Screw Attack to begin. Sounds pretty quiet to me. Maybe that's a Sunwoo thing. Maybe my ears don't work. But we see Tickles has the Norfair palette, Norfair tile set. So that's most likely the like region specific set. So whenever he goes to a new region, it'll be changed. But then Sunwoo might be on... well, it looks like it's colored. So it's going to be red because it has coloring. I'm trying to decide. That's not even the important part. The important stuff is that we're playing Desolate. Basic Desolate. So I actually need to explain that. Desolate means... there is exactly one path, one logical path to take, and it's going to make you do that. And usually, that's going to put E-Tanks at the very end. That's what makes it challenging. So right now we have Screw Attack, we're following Space Jump. That enables you to do most rooms damageless. So we're not seeing an E-Tank for a long time. We're playing Basic, so heat damage from heated rooms is going to be like ×5. And that makes it unrealistic to place an E-Tank for logic. So we're expecting to see Varia before long. That's just usually how it goes. I think we can hear some button controller presses on Tickles' side. So if I could fix Sunwoo's audio, that might be the way to go. Switch it back. We have a crate fight, but no ammo. Missiles are filler. Oh, we often talk about filler on commentary. For Desolate is different from Tricky. Normally we play Tricky all the time. There's our Morph Ball. And that is a instance of Desolate, not placing that second item. So filler items are going to be Charge Spazer missiles. And after the first, but not the first, Super and Power Bomb pack. And E-Tanks reserves are never filler. There's Ridley. The objectives are still the bosses. 4 bosses. I was going to choose random objectives today, but then Sunwoo Farmer said, well, if we just play Basic Desolate, LOL. I said, you got it. Also, you're volunteered for restream. And then I'd choose the second restreamer based around who's close to that runner. So Sunwoo's doing a heated room. That room takes about 90, maybe a high 80. There's a Varia suit. But then you have to multiply it by 5 logically for Basic. And so you'd need 4 tanks to do that logically. Possibly have to come back too. That's why it's almost guaranteed you have to get a various suit pretty early in these. No ammo. So it's possible it's a basic thing, but it's definitely a desolate thing that it's just opening up a few locations. Like each new item has to open up a new item location to place progression. That's right, only one item. Alcatraz that Tickles just did, that's in hard. This is basic. I think my plan is to say it every minute. Playing basic. So water rooms are not logic, but the crab gate room that Tickles was just in would be logic. To walk through from the left to the right. Right to left would take a gate glitch, and that is in hard. So there's our crate fight. We're looking around. Basic tech is very simple stuff. You know how to use space jump. You do not know how to use space jump to escape from water. Like, you can't bounce on water, but you can certainly jump with space jump. You can wall jump, but only once. The Eticunes, they're going to show you how to wall jump all the way up that shaft. Not in basic. That would be a medium tech, getting out of the Eticune pit. And then getting to the item. You know how the top Eticune jumps over to the powerbomb item? That would be... I think that's in basic. I think that's implied tech level. They were asking in the race room what implied tech was. It's certainly hard to know offhand. I think freezing an enemy and stepping on it is implied tech. There's levels of mid-air morph. I think it's essentially if you fall... If you mid-air morph and then fall into a morph tunnel, that's implied tech. But if you have to be rising, then it's a basic tech. Jumping into a water room. Like, if it's for the gravity jump effect, that's in hard. That's something that stands out a lot. But essentially, you don't have to do much water movement. Okay, so Tickles made it back to Sunwood died earlier. I didn't see how much was lost, actually. I didn't believe it was much. And we found the ship here. This is random start. I feel like Season 4 is going to be ship start, because we've had 2 seasons in a row that were random start. These platforms are pretty hard to see. No item in X-ray? Get scammed? I don't actually know the count of items that are removed. But I did play a seed right before this race happened. And looked at the spoiler to see how many items were placed. And we had 60 missiles, 30 supers, 25 power bombs, 8 E-tanks, 4 reserves. So we're looking for something like that, resource-wise, maximum. And then a key part of Desolate is all the majors won't be placed. So in my seed, we didn't have plasma or morph bombs. And usually that's done by... Like, it gets to the final step, and then if you're able to beat the game, it stops placing items. It gives you majors like randomly mixed in with all the ammo until that point. There's all the E-tanks down there behind Lava Dive. That means you need gravity to reach those. And that sure makes it seem like gravity's going to be late. There's a chance there's a speed lock in there. It's kind of hard to tell at a glance, unless you count. But all the E-tanks of the seed are going to be locked by either gravity or maybe something else. And that's the standout thing of challenge seeds, and then Desolate is harder than challenge. We have missiles. Okay, so Tickle's gonna fall. Good thing that's a pink door. No item though. Getting back would take a mock ball, and mock ball would be in hard logic. But we're in basic. So this is gonna be out of logic. It's a water room too, so you can't even do anything. Oh well. You can't even scout the item. You have to do the in-room mock ball exit, which is kind of tough if you're actually a hard level runner. It feels harder than most of the hard things, I think. Because it's tied to your short jump ability. Your short hop mock ball. Oh no. Sunwoo, where are you going? Sunwoo needs this map. So might be taking the other door now. The other door leads to X-ray and doesn't continue through. You can't clearly call not going for the map a mistake because we don't have all the ammos. So you could very easily be locked by a ammo door. But usually you always want to get the map first. That just informs you of what is possible to do. We have space jump and screw attack, and that lets you do the most things in basic. There's many rooms, like we're looking at Lore Norfolk Pillar Room. In hard, you'd powerbomb through. In medium, you'd powerbomb through. But in basic, you have to screw attack through. Frame for frame here in this race. 10:57 into the race. Neck and neck. Neither one has the 5 missiles to go through that door. So this is very scary to actually do. Killing the key hunters with screw attack. But it's hard to represent that logically. Just the fear that one faces when standing next to a key hunter when you have screw attack. So it just says you can do it. Possible Tickles is going back. Because he wasted a missile randomly. And I don't think Sunwoo saw anything that was doable. But it's heading somewhere. I don't actually remember or know the current state of opening a missile door and then refilling. For a long time, it assumed you had to... Oh, we can get this item, Mickey Mouse. Charge beam. That's big. It's not going to get us through GT. But we'll see what actually happens. A long time ago, you needed... Like, logically, you needed to use the resources every time to go through a ammo door. It didn't keep track of that. These days... It does now. Oh, we have a crate fight. So that is a path we can take. The missile fight, you confirm missiles pretty quickly. If it was a super fight, you'd really want to hit every super. I hate pausing Twitch, and it just sends you directly back to the ads. Anyway. I'm watching through Discord, so that doesn't matter. I'm just complaining for no reason. Takes 10 missiles to kill Kraid. Yes, 10. Horsepawn has 960 health, Kraid has 1,000. You'll get there, Sunwoo. Down goes Kraid. Much faster fight than Dread. I don't actually know how long the fight is in Metroid 1. I think it's fairly fast. You just have to build up enough missile count. Nothing there. Well, well, well. So they're both going to do this. Which makes sense. It puts... I click crate, it'll happen. They're both going to do this. What do you do next? The charge shot does 60 damage, so it doesn't quite make up for a missile. Sunwoo needs to get the criteria map. So if Sunwoo ever looks lost, he has the option of just getting that map. But charge... I don't think charge does too much. Charge is good for Croc. But charge you need other beams before it becomes a logical value. Okay, new place. We are in the pre-ice room. This is GT. Come on, no coward. What is this? There's our power bombs. We found them. So you just spaceship across. Get the no coward bombs. And that should open up a lot more. Apparently, we're forced to get this. Bottoon's not going to be in logic yet. For Tickles, who has missiles and charge. I believe basic assumes you don't stand in the safe spot. And then also you have to damage down Bottoon by half its health before you can use the safe spot completely safely. Fire bombs. Nice. With power bombs, you can go below Key Hunter stairs. So if Tickles ends up going back that way, then can pick up charge on the way, hopefully. It's a green door. Very funneled in this seed. Desolate is gonna funnel you. That's one of the standout aspects of it. But we're playing basic, so it's really easy to sequence break past the funnel. And that's what makes this a fun setting. No one's used to basic or desolate in the race room. So we don't know what kind of final order is going to come from this. Who's going to win? Of these two, Tickles has the higher rating from Season 3. But not by much. What we're seeing so far is that Sunwoo took a early death trying to go through a heated room. Lost some time to that. And then we also saw that Tickles pick up the criteria map. Sunwoo doesn't have yet. But because of the way that the seed is, they're forced to do the same things. Tickles also stopped for charge beam. That Sunwoo doesn't have. So this green gate glitch, that would be in very hard if they had supers. But wave gate room, you need wave beam to get through. Hopefully Sunwoo goes for the map. But it could be that you're supposed to get the key stairs, go through that to progress. If someone does get this map, it's going to be really good. Maps are just so important in map Rando. I don't know how they did it, but They made a randomizer called Map Rando and made the map stations the most important thing. In the vanilla speedrun and in Dash and Varia, total randomizers, Jesse randomizers, you don't value maps at all. But here you do. Water map. Okay, we can cross off water map. There's a Torian here. And also a Brinstar. Can you actually get to Brinstar, though? This looks like G4 rims, so no. Yeah, the bottom path is powerbomb locked. So what's in Torian? Please show us, Sunwoo Farmer. As I said earlier, getting back through early supers would not be logical. Unless there's a crazy loop. But this is Batoon E-Tank Rim. So we would need an even crazier loop. No, you still can't do it. Turn back now, before it's too late. Sunwoo almost wants to reset from here to the ship. But a second missile pack is really strong. Running around with one missile pack is one of the least comfortable ways to play the game. But it looks like Key Stairs is the forced answer. So that's pretty neat. It's not letting them sequence break anything. You may think that this is basic and you can do whatever you want. It means that you can get free items. But no. It's possible that because you have like space jump and screw, that's pretty strong. And so you could one-way get to an item pretty easily. Such as anything past the early supers crumble block. But no. It's just all hard locked. Well, that looks scary as all heck. I'd be surprised if this was logic, but it might have to be. Is this logic? Okay. So I don't know what we're supposed to do. Whenever it's like, I don't know what we're supposed to do here. I always fear that it's going to be a bug seed. Charge is through the left door of the next room. He has 5 missiles. So charge is right over here. I don't see what to do. Hopefully Tickles found it. Going through the hopper room, I think would take 3 hits. In hard with screw attack, you take 1 hit both directions. And I think in medium, you take 2 hits, even though you have screw attack. As I was saying earlier, facing down these endgame enemies, even with screw attack, it's too much. But then if you have Various Suit as well, you can take a hit. So maybe. Tickles drops down Mickey Mouse. Goes through the Metroids. This may just be a soft lock. We don't know. Someone's gonna die. You can't get out of this, especially in this situation. You just hit the door and go through. Okay. Not dead. We're watching Tickles. That's the top of Ridley, so that's no good. What is there to do? The criteria doesn't have anything. Torian you can't touch. Doesn't even matter, this Ridley fight. There's a GT, but no. GT would be insane for how long it is. I can't do Wavegate. You can't ride bowling or anything like that. I don't see what to do. I don't think we can lava dive, but that would just be for E-tanks. Does that leave? There's Batoon, but that's nothing. Well, since we're out of ideas, you check the GT item. The seed doesn't end if there's something useful there. But what's going on, Seed? We're playing on the new version 118 of Map Rando. Very recently released. I spent a long time on dev build. So everything should be checked out. Have we seen this door? Yes. Tickles has been this way. Oh. That's not too useful. I feel like we're about to get the GT fight. Oh no. Not even gonna peek. The way that I currently have no idea what to do, I'd be peeking. Oh, saving first? Fair. The thing is, this GT fight's gonna take many minutes. Ah. Here's a path we haven't seen. The powerbomb locked path through Red Tower. Neither one has been this way. When both the runners and me, all three of us are running around, what do you do? What do you do? My worries of bug seed grow. Hopefully it's understandable. But it looks like we're fine. A wave beam. Wave beam lets you through the wave gate. And I believe we don't know what's over there. Okay, they both figured it out. Good question from the chat. Where are the E-tanks? We are on 0 E-tanks. I informed the race room. These settings are not going to give you E-tanks anytime early. You'll be able to beat the game before you get an E-tank. They agreed to that. But that is how Challenge and Desolate are played. Especially where you got Screw Attack early. You're always going to get Various Suit early in basic Desolate. But they got Screw Attack as well. So that means you're immune to every kind of damage. Other than, like, particularly tricky movements. And that means all the E-tanks are at the end. We saw a lot of them behind Lava Dive. And that means you need gravity for those. Gravity's going to prevent the lava damage. So as soon as they get gravity, they can go pick up those E-tanks, and then the seed will be fully beatable at that point. Most likely. That's the #1 question when someone is watching a desolate seed. Where are the E-tanks? Or playing a desolate seed? Let me tell you, it's hard to make no mistakes. If you have 0 E-tanks, a couple enemies just hit hard. You have screw attack, it doesn't matter if you mistime your jump. You get hit and you die. I think climbing up Leodoc's room, where Sunwoo is, that should be in... It has to be in basic. Maybe you need high jump. But I think it's a... I think it's a notable strat, too. When I was first playing Map Rando, I had a hard time climbing up Leodoc's room. I kept getting sniped by pirates. And I have never seen anyone else die to that. But I died many times in my early seeds. Tickles found supers. Tickles can be the lead now. Could argue has been the lead for a while. That's the state of things. Pew. What do you do next? We have supers. Perhaps take a save. This is a water room that has the danger marking. Oh no. Tickle's crying. Something you learn is you don't blindly go down down through down doors. So down doors that have the caution tape are always water rooms. Unless you're playing without wall jump on. Then they could be croc. But this should be a soft lock, but doesn't have to be. It is a map. So this being a map means it's perfectly fine to come this way.
Other brains here.
That is not a way back up. Oh, that's why we're not on Tickles. Tickles talks. Tickles has a voice. We're not allowed to have any voices other than mine. Listen only to me. So Tickles got the map. Has to run back for the supers. They're kind of tied now because of that. The map didn't have critical information. It was just eventually useful information. And when you're playing Desolate, the seeds are going to be a lot slower, take longer. And it's harder to immediately use your information. What it does is it keeps you from blinding the zone you're in. Today we're playing Basic Desolate at Sunwoo Farmer's request. We are in the season off-season, the off-season of Season 3, going into 4. Where we, A, try out modes for the next season, and B, have fun. Today is a have fun day. So the racers are having fun and enjoying this. Not everyone enjoys taking big resets, but these 2 and 22 other racers in the race room all enjoy that and are having fun. They are okay not having any E-tanks at all. As we hit the 33-minute mark. I hope you're all having fun too, chat. Everyone watching. Bring you the new settings. Seldom seen. If you're gonna watch any of the Map Rando streamers, you're more likely to see the different settings like this. But in SpeedGaming, we tend to only show... does that hit? That did not hit. We tend to only show hard tricky most of the time. Does that hit? No. This powerbomb usage is pretty wild. Could have gotten that check with 1 powerbomb used 4. But then you get 4 right back here. Movement. Data play. Forfeit. 1 man down. So Wasteland. Wasteland is a major. Is it logic? It's hard to know. Tickles is dead. Does a Spike Kid and the Tuskegee would have survived one or the other on their own? The big hard to understand thing about basic and medium logic is what it expects movement-wise. Like, what is a reasonable jump? That's something that takes a lot of refinement to pick up. So Sunwoo can take the soft lock, pick up a map down here, and reset out. Like, if you have screw attack, that's a lot of protection. T-booster. I can track that. I'm the tracker. Speed booster, I don't know what that's good for. We still can't do Torian or Brinstar. Or get the E-tanks. We're all having so much fun. Oh, GT had a blank item. That's the key feature of Desolate, is there's just some item locations that are not items. The way that's implemented, there's a pool of all the filler items, all the non-single items. So E-tanks, reserves, missiles, supers, power bombs. You tell the game, the randomizer, how many you want in your seed. And I think we have it on 60, 30, 25. And 3 plus 3. It takes that number and then it adds to it until it's beatable. So there's going to be about double the E-tanks. And I don't know if the ammo changes. So yeah, there's reduced items in the pool. And then if it reaches the last step and the game's beatable, then it just stops placing items. So you don't get every major. We're heading left. We're heading left. Oh, there's a major. We should get that. I think that's a great choice. Go get the bowling item. The wreck ship reserve major. So again, we're playing basic Desolate. And Desolate's going to force you down like a set path at every step. But because it's basic, you'd think that you could skip some steps and get out of logic stuff. But we're seeing that you cannot do that. The most out of logic doable thing is this lava dive. And high jumpless lava dive with no E-tanks Varia. That is GT Classic World Record strats. No, it isn't. That's not at all possible. I take it back. If you had high jump, it'd be max percent strats. Anyway, we're both at the same room at the same time. Sunwoo actually ahead right now. Has an extra powerbomb pack. Made it to gravity suit first. There we go. Gravity, big find. Gravity lets them go everywhere. Everywhere includes up G4 elevator and through Botun E-Tank. So we can do Brinstar and Torian. Or you can start by getting all these E-Tanks. I think I would start with the E-Tanks. Yeah, they see Mother Brain is here in Norfair. It looks like you have to come back for Mother Brain. There's kind of no connectors off of Norfair. You go into Criteria, then Criteria is the more of a hub area. Very close race, 40 minutes in. No one knew what to expect in a basic Desolate seed, but apparently we got a close race. So you head all the way left to Big Pink. You should pick up 3 or 4 E-Tanks, and then just beat the game after that. The interesting thing is how there are so many E-Tanks down here. This isn't the only area that Gravity unlocks. So you'd think that E-Tanks would be elsewhere. Okay. So Tickle's gonna go a different way. I told them the approximate E-Tank count. I said there was 8 plus 4 in the seed that I played just before this. I was Tickled scared about dying. That would have been a lead for Tickles, but instead, gonna sack a lot of time going back. If you hit a fireball, you die. They do 200 damage base. Oh, never mind, they have both suits. This tracker's not updating very fast today. Always a little frustrating. Fun comes in many forms. Today we're playing randomized fun. You have no idea how fun it'll be until it happens. So it actually looks like Sunwoo is going to be ahead. Most off of the time it took Tickles to save. So kind of over the past 40 minutes, we've seen Tickles take an early lead, and then Sunwoo slowly come back and surpass. It's been a little interesting to watch. No one knew what to expect. Aussie 2025. We're all having fun here. SpeedGaming 3 2025. That's right, I said it. So they both got 2 and 2. I think that's what I would do. Get the 2 and 2. My point about coming back from Mother Brain is that you don't have to do Ridley right now. So get some better ammo first. And from here, you go either Brinstar or Torian. I would pick Brinstar because it's bigger. So far we have Mother Brain knowledge, Ridley knowledge, Kraid killed. So we're looking for 2 more. Fantoon and Dragon. Meridia, eh? I kind of forgot about Meridia as an option. If you know Fantoon is here, then definitely. But I don't even know where the map is. That means the only region we don't know anything about is Rex Ship. Let's see if we get divergence. Everest. Everest, pretty big. Fact. This looks like divergence to me. Three Musketeers always feels kind of bad. Like, you wish you had a save. But if your save is back at the ship, that's too far. We have Majors, Major, Brinstar, Wrecked Ship, I see. You know Ridley, and also Mother Brain's not this way. So there's no urgency to get ammo. You can get it on the way out. But like this exit's on the path, so you get it. This looks like Brinstar from Tickles. So pretty good race seed, I feel. You need to play the early game really well. Like just follow the clues. And that was about 40 minutes worth of gameplay. And then once you have your items, it opens up. And so that gives some comeback potential. Playing Desolate, so there might not be a plasma. The higher difficulties, you tend to get a lot of missiles and supers, or otherwise know exactly where every super is, because of reading the item placement. We have Spazer. Spazer's a good find. It's a lot of weapon damage. So I feel like on higher difficulties that are still desolate, you finish with ammo. But we're playing basic. Basic is going to give you your movement items faster. And so then you'll be like in go mode before you blind enough ammo to finish the game. And that might be the biggest difference of someone who is used to playing Desolate already before coming into this. I believe Tickles is trying to blind for Fantoon, because this is Edicune Main Shaft, and the map is at the bottom, like the bottom right here door, but it's still a left door, and so Fantoon can still be in one of the higher right side doors. But that's not the case. So Fantoon's either Torian or ship, but we have Dragon. Nothing at all here you want to see. So Sunwoo probably has a better Dragon fight. Tickles can pull out some really strong Shine Sparks. You're going to be seeing a lot of grayed out missiles on the map, like the single pixel items. And those are just nothing items. Moonfalling Worst Room is not really that much faster. And almost everyone fails it enough that you shouldn't really bother. One super left. Watch out, Tickles. It can put you in a rough spot if you run out of supers. If you have to, Charge Wave is enough to just finish the game on. Charge Wave Spazer, you don't even really need to look for ammo if you have Wave Spazer. That's pretty much the difference between the two. R2 Dragon. It's gonna take all of Tickles' missiles to shoot at the turrets. And we're leaning heavily on these Shine Sparks. Keep in mind, no high jump. So that makes the Shine Sparks pretty hard. Oh! Remember to look at that elevator on the way back. Very nice opening Shine Spark. Gonna have both of them doing the Dragon fight. Sunwoo has the full Meridia knowledge. And also better ammo. A little bit less health. Charge shots are worth very little. Might be more worthwhile to farm missiles. But if you can use Shine Sparks, they're worth like 15 missiles each. And if you see how fast they're using missiles, farming them and hitting Dragon with them, you know that 15's a lot. Very, very nice finish from Tickles. When Dragon's that low, a lot of runners get scared and don't want to finish with a Shine Spark. Aw. So Tickles had the spike suit, but if you're doing the damage boost off the turret like that, you have to make sure to hold backwards. Like, you have to fully complete the damage boost, or else you just use it. So this elevator, it has a new caution tape, and that means you're going to the Lower Norfair heated room, the elevator. And that's the only one that will kill you if you're on no items and go down. So it's needed a caution tape for a very long time. Now it has it. Welcome to 118. Sunwoo would have been hyper dead, but used the trick of running towards Dragon when Shine Sparking. Because you saw, if you were watching closely, someone got grabbed by the goop right before hitting Dragon. That would have done like 10 E-tanks worth of damage. Maybe more. But he was running when he did the Shine Spark, and so that doesn't give you blue suit. So good on both of them. Tickles needed the faster fight, since Sunwoo had a faster Brinstar. I feel like Sunwoo goes to Torian and Tickles goes to Wreckship. But we'll see. And then it matters which one has Fantoon. It's anybody's race. Whoever gets Fantoon first probably wins. Sunwoo has the pile of supers. If Sunwoo comes back to Meridia, I think he's ahead. Not by much. But Tickles has to get the map, look around, come back. Might be stopping for some X's. But where Tickles is closer to Wreckship. So. Sunwoo effectively one room ahead right now. And the super pack. That's how close it is. 53 minutes. One room apart. We are into Aqueduct. Aqueduct normally has 2 items. How many items will it have today? We're playing Desolate. It could have between 0 and 2. That's not an item. The answer is 0. Congratulations. That's why I'm Desolate. So Tickle's gonna take the save before going wreck ship. I mean, the other option is checking the majors. But I think you would rather have the... You'd rather scout wreck ship instead of the majors? Because you know where Ridley and Mother Brain are. Or you could Hail Mary Torian. Torian? I don't... Is that... Yeah, Torian has... Fantoon. How about that? Wreck ship has a major. It would have been real swell if Sunwoo took a save before coming back into Meridia. Because this was a long way to run. Doesn't matter what this major is. It's not good enough for all this backtrack. 4 supers. It takes 3 to kill. Happen to get 2 more back. This major is... Ice Beam. Ice Beam's pretty good. What the brain was... I don't know what kind of runway it was. Ammo count's not so high. That's because this is desolate. Yeah, someone didn't do a Shrine Spark kill. Apparently really locked into this area and needs a super. Oh, there's the Crade Mouth right here. Yikes. I'm not sure why I didn't do the Shine Spark kill on the Metal Pirates. But that would have been good. We're getting to see this second item. It is High Jump. I'm gonna reset that. Now Tickles is gonna go into Wreck Ship. They were once 1 room apart, now Sunwoo is 1 region ahead. That's right. Your screen flashed Torian for a moment. So that's where you headed. This isn't going to feel like the god route from either of them. Last locating Fantan. But we're focusing on the 1v1 right now. 24-person race. No one is finished. I think. Yeah, no one is finished. 57 minutes in. I told them not to treat basic desolate like a basic tricky. This is going to be harder than you think. And no one's done yet. The Pickle sees map. Maybe just resets. So this major isn't that far. If you reset, it takes you like up the toilet and to the left side of Everest. So maybe that's the thought. This major's like 4 rims away. And Tickle just finished going farther than that to look at High Jump. Then to get the Shrine Spark kill. So this is Ice Beam. Ice Beam good. There's 2 items you're looking for right now. Plasma and Ice Beam. So gonna keep ice. Basically, their super count isn't high enough for what they'd want. I still don't think it's time for Ridley. But at this point, you probably give up on Plasma. We're playing Desolate. It may not place Plasma at all. Wrong manip. Eddie has a manip like that, where you just keep Ridley hovering as you shoot new route beam at it. So 15 supers is half the fight. 30 charge shots is half the fight. Put 2 and 2 together. You get 1 entire fight. The math here is that 5 supers is worth 10 seconds. So Sunwoo should have a faster fight by 10 seconds. It's also going to be easier to count the supers at the end. Because you just go from Ridley's red, use all supers, fight's over. Instead of actually having to use your brain. When speedrunning, you want to use your brain as little as possible. That's the secret. Replan everything. Sunwoo into Norfair. Brain known for being in Norfair. We'll see if that is the case. If that is the desired situation of the moment. Because this seems like a bit of a trip if you don't have to be here right now. If you go into criteria, you pass by the ship. There it is. I imagine you misremembered where Torium was. So ate some time loss for that. Mistakes have consequences, after all. Tickles into the wreck ship main shaft. Perhaps this is where Ridley lives. Fantian lives. Lore would indicate as much. This is not a lore run, however. Ah. If you're dropping into Meridia Tube, I tend to break it. Because you have to break it later anyway. And the trigger point is going to be on the top left of the tube. Which is more efficient to break it when you're coming from that direction. There's a final boss located. I think we will get the map. And that's when we can play the game of how many majors were not placed. We've seen high jump. And I think that's the only other major we've seen that hasn't been found, collected. So it could be grapple, X-ray, bombs, spring ball, plasma. That sounds like 5. Up to 5 majors could be out there. There's probably some more X's too. Say Sunwoo is still in the lead. Ridley fight wasn't and isn't going to be all that fast. It's a very... It's been a great race. Great runners, great race. You know what I should do? I should send !R into the chat. And maybe that'll make something happen that you're interested in. There's our major. It all comes down to this. If it's plasma, then Tickle's gonna make back a lot of time. lower door, you had to power bomb anyway. Poor Tickles. But what's our item? What's it gonna be? It is Spring Ball. The reward of a Spring Ball. So I think that's gonna lock in Sunwoo to being ahead. The Ridley fight's just gonna take long enough for Sunwoo to pass back by. And then, do you even check that major? In Sunwoo's spot? With Ridley already killed? No. So let's see. Yeah, I think no. If it's plasma, then you save, let's say 20 seconds. Be a little less than that. But you save something like 20 seconds if it's exactly plasma. If it's one of the other 4 majors, it's a time loss of 20 seconds. So the value of making that check is like 20%, but a concept, 25%. If you'd like to volunteer for SpeedGaming Live, please sign up here. They were gonna give out details for SpeedGaming Live not too long ago. And see if that happened or not. Additional details. In Herndon, Virginia. Time. I also didn't plan on organizing a map rando tournament for SpeedGaming Live online. So I don't know what's gonna happen. I'm less involved this year. So we're not worried about Tickles dying. It's just gonna take too long. So I'm already out of Torian. Like, we know that this beam fight is 30 seconds worth of beam shots plus 10 seconds. And then your supers. And then a little bit more because you're not actually doing a shot every second. That's the task minimum. Yeah, Seed. We have a 107, 108 on our way to Mother Brain. These are runners in the Eddie tournament that just concluded. Could have easily sub-houred with the Eddie settings. But I don't know if I want to say the whole idea of Desolate is to be a challenge type of setting. This can be a lot slower. Oh, hey. So someone just passed by Tickles. They're like one room apart again. That's amazing. There's an ammo refill in Bubble Mountain. I don't know that Tickles knows that. Might see it right here. That's, well, it's not the whole reason you pause, but it's a big part of it. You need an ammo refill after the Ridley. You also need to map out how to get to Mother Brain. Although this super count is low enough, you're just going to farm on the way. Oh, maybe saw the missile refill here. The ammo refill. Yeah, map rando's going to refill supers and power bombs as well. But only needing like 7 supers might have been able to... I just farm on the way. Acid dive, a little dicey. There's also a farm right before Mother Brain. So I think that would have been faster, actually, instead of going to the ammo refill. It's usually not a big enough deal to matter. But with how close this race is, Sunwoo heading the wrong way. I thought there was an idea being followed, but turned back. It's I can put more blame on the runner when the tiles are on the minimap. You can turn off screw attack to do this zip skip. Screw attack's gonna reset your iframes, and you need iframes to go through the zip tight, otherwise it pushes you back. Seems like those were the only E-tanks we saw or picked up. There might have been another one that they can get. I don't know. Sunwoo Farmer into Mother Brain 2, right as Tickles enters the room. Faster, Tickles. Think of the storyline. Okay, so that was like 4 or 5 shots in. Think of the storyline, Tickles. We have such a great race going. Get in there! If they get hit by a catch-up, it's likely double hit, and that's the most likely way to die. But they do have a safety E-tank. I don't know how much any percent they both play, but if you do play any percent, you often have 4 tanks. And this would be very familiar. No high jump, though. It looks like they're opting to do as much damage as they can with the... Always scary if you moonwalk when that ketchup comes out. That looks like Sunwoo's through. So all that's left is the escape timer. This is basic, so it's going to be like twice as much as a herd seed. Perhaps more. So, probably more even. They have to go through all of Norfair and a little bit of Criteria. So, 3 minutes. It is 4 minutes. I was way off. No one can understand the mind of basic. Tickle's probably getting to the scary part here. Probably about ready to shoot the supers. Probably gonna wait for the scary shot and then switch. I think if you're on 7 and you wait for the catch-up, then you overkill a bit. But I don't do this style, so I don't really know. Damaging down, smart. Sunwoo lost a little bit of time to getting hit after Rainbow. And then we'll see how well they can both do the escape. Pull it off. Very close race for being an hour 13 long. There's the back and forth, but just always stay together. Good choice of runners, me. You've done it again. Yep, Sunwoo Farmer, Tickles. Probably heard of them. They've been on Restream before. Give them a follow if you want to see more Super Metroid action. I think Sunwoo plays like a bigger variety of Super Metroid randomizer. And I don't actually know what else Tickles is playing. Maybe I'll ask. This is 40 seconds apart on the timers currently. So maybe that's a minute in real time. But you can see on basic, it was a 4-minute timer. It took a minute and a half to finish. There's no fear of not making timer on basic. GG, we have our on-stream winner, Sunwoo Farmer. That is 1:14:13 officially. Then Tickles, I'll just mark done now because the back end is slow. Right behind. Then we'll see if one or both of them want to come in and talk about it. So Tickle's going to finish. Official time 1:15:05. We have Sunwoo Farmer 11th place overall. Tickles 12th. Within a minute on a 115 seed. Very nice. The winner of the race from overall was AC Shadow, the only one to get sub hour, 58 minute 38 second. Number 2 is Nevdi with a 102. Techno Waffle 104. Then down the list we have Tillamorph, Super Sponge, Eddie Oates, Darth Radius, Nitro, Beardness, and Sunwoo Tickles. Congrats to all those finishers. Big turnout today. On this day of fun and fun settings, basic desolate. I don't know who's expecting to play this when all they wanted was to join the weekly, but this is what I gave them. They're in the setup channel. I need them to move up to the Talk to Me channel. They've done this before. They know the procedure. So we saw high jump, we saw spring ball. If Tickles didn't go for high jump or spring ball, what would have been the difference? They've both joined me, Sunwoo Farmer and Tickles, now in the live on air channel. GG, both of you.
Thank you, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. GG's, Tickle.
Yeah, I was just saying that I think if Tickles didn't go for high jump and spring ball, like near the end there, that could have been the difference.
Yeah, I was kind of confused on the logic because I read in the chat that like speed is not placed, but then I found speed, so I'm like maybe plasma's placed. So I kept like looking. It was more just like curiosity than anything to
No,
see if
it's
I could
random
find
what
it.
isn't placed.
Okay, but there's like guaranteed to be like a certain amount of items that aren't placed at all. Is that how it works?
No, it places everything it can until there's enough items to finish the game, and then it stops.
Oh, okay. So it's possible there's like a logic chain that gives you every item then?
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, there's definitely a interesting logic. A lot of back and forth. I feel like my fingers like gotta work out just doing all these jumps back and forth down these hallways and elevator long shafts.
I must have wall jumped climb like 5 times, maybe 6.
Yeah. I like how it gave you speed booster, but you still had like 0 E tank, so you really couldn't spark it anyway. So
Yes.
Both of you played much of Desolate before?
I think this is my first time. I'm not sure. I may have done like one off, but it didn't feel familiar at all to me.
I've done a few casually, but not racy. But I get, yeah, they always seem a little long.
Yeah. So the general features of Desolate is you're going to go back and forth across the world to get one item, and your E tanks are going to be at the end, so you'll be on 0 for a long time.
Yeah, I did see that huge pile. Was it in criteria?
Yeah,
I figured
that was early on.
I figured I might as well hit it up once I could because I didn't know if that was all the E things there were or not. I didn't know the logic well enough. I saw there was like 2 more by Dragon, so maybe you could have like gotten by without those, but I don't know. It seemed like a decent play at the time.
I think one was behind a croc fight. I was gonna get at least the one. I think it was the beach area item with the fish. I forget that room name. But then it went into croc. I think they were both E tanks.
I don't recall seeing Crocs. So I must have just not been paying attention.
Yeah, same. think I missed it. But really good race from both of you. It started off with Tickles had the lead early on, like navigated the early game a little bit better. I think someone caught up at Supers about.
Oh, okay.
It kind of took the lead from there. No, it was that Lava Dive. Kind of big gap was made when Tickles went to save first.
Yeah, I just kind of spaced out and forgot that they were on the way. For some reason, I thought it was after the ship, so I had to go back. Also, I think like the biggest misplay was I couldn't figure out what to do after I got power bombs. So it took me a while to realize it was Red Tower. Like I looked at the maps like a bunch of times and I just didn't see it.
Yeah, I didn't see it at all, and you weren't both going directly to where you needed to, so I didn't know what to do.
Yeah, but it was fun though. I definitely do one of these again. I think this would be like a pretty good beginner seed for someone that like wants a challenge but isn't super familiar with the logic. Could be like a good way to start off.
Yeah, especially if you save here and there.
Like if I ever win marbles, I'm gonna make Barber's King play one of these.
Good race from both of you. Once again, very close throughout. We did an entertaining watch. And thanks to Sunwoo Farmer for picking the mode for today's weekly.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, thank you for letting me pick. That was cool. It was nice switching it up. Definitely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we're going to be trying out different modes for a while. Sometimes as part of deciding what to do for Season 4, and sometimes just to do something wacky. Like, I don't think this will be our Season 4 settings.
No.
That
would be...
No.
That would be wild. Yes.
Yeah, we got to add wild map to it. You're right.
Yeah.
No, I like the idea of experimenting in between seasons. I think it's a good idea. I'm all for it.
Yep. I don't have anything else to say, I don't think.
Thank you again, Ozzy. Thank you, Speed Gaming, and thank you, Tickle, for a good race. And hope to see y'all next weekly.
Yep, GG Sunwoo. Thanks for restreaming Aussie. I didn't realize I was being restreamed, so I may have dropped a couple F-bombs. I hope they didn't get picked up. But yeah, thanks Speed Gaming for hosting it, and that's all I got.
Great. So let's wrap this up. Thanks both of you for letting yourselves be restreamed, whether you're aware or not. And yep, it's been great having you here, talking to me and all that. Thanks to everyone who showed up in the chat room, and hope you all enjoyed it. But that'll be it for today's Super Metroid Map Rando Community Weekly Race. Yeah, we're done. The next one will be Saturday, so you can tune in then. See you all next mission, as we say.